All right, guys, Kenny Smith, Total Force Holding Incorporated. We're going to talk about knives a little bit today. All right, and the reason we're going to do that is because there's a lot of confusion on what you can and can't carry at different places. For the record, I am not a lawyer. I am not a lawyer. You need to consult a lawyer on these. What I can do is I can read the North Carolina General Statute because I'm in North Carolina and make my own decision, right? But I understand if my decision is wrong, big boy rules apply, right? How many people were given a knife like this? I know I was, obviously. Not something you want to try to open one-handed, not something you're going to want to fight with. Yeah, just no. What I'm doing now is I'm grabbing a selection of folders up. Under North Carolina law, an ordinary pocket knife is exempt from all concealed carry permit stuff. So you can carry this, no permit, no questions asked. I mean, these are okay. But certain knives are not that are popular. Spring assisted. Section D of General Statute 14-269, right there. That's why you can see what I'm reading. Section D. The section does not apply to an ordinary pocket knife carried in a closed position. As used in this section, ordinary pocket knife means a small knife designed for carrying a pocket or purse that has its cutting edge and point entirely enclosed by its handle and that may not be opened by a throwing explosive or spring action. I don't know too many LEOs that would hassle you over an assisted opener. However, if you're the type that wants to carry an auto, bad day for you. To my knowledge, all right, and that one's just boogered. To my knowledge, hey, you can carry it openly, carry it concealed, you're going to jail. So, assisted opener depends on who you talk to. All right, make sure you talk to an attorney about that and find out, or before you start carrying it, contact your local law enforcement and find out their opinion on it. Most of them are more than happy to help. The other gray area is a karambit. Some places say you can't carry a hawkbill. That's definitely a hawkbill type blade. But karambit, if it's legal to carry, a karambit is one of the fiercest edged weapons you'll ever run across if you run across it in the hands of someone that knows what they're doing. But again, it may not be legal in your jurisdiction. So again, call your local police before you start carrying it. Make sure they understand what a karambit is. It may not be a bad idea to go talk to an attorney, keep it in a box or whatever, go talk to an attorney, say, hey, here's this, go from there. Or you could get an email for someone at the local police department, email them photographs of it. That tends to work pretty well. Typically, what we see people carrying are something like this. This is an all manual folder. And notice it's not slow to open, even though it's manual. I mean, with practice, you can open these things really quickly. So you're not at much of a loss for carrying a manual. All right, single-edged, good. It's not going to be considered a dirk or dagger, which is specifically mentioned in 14-269A. Single-edged, drop-point blade, so it's good, useful for both cutting and stabbing, work task and fighting. Pocket clip, this one allows moderately deep carry. Locking mechanism, this is a Benchmade axis lock, and a thumb stud. And you see a mix of thumb studs and thumb holes. So this is typically what you're going to see carried. Fairly short blade, nothing super long, but it's not super short either. It's a good mid-size. Here, this Benchmade 615 Mini Ruckus. All right, the karambit I showed is a 511 Cub 2.0, designed by Steve Tarani, and that would be this right here. And then the assisted opener I was demoing is a SOG Trident Tanto. All right, this is typically what you see. However, I would suggest something more like this. This is the Spyderco with the Spyderco Endura with that Emerson wave-shaped opening feature right there. And the reason being is that snags on the pocket and allows this to be opened just as fast as a fixed blade. It comes out of the pocket and it's ready to fight, just like a fixed blade. It comes out of the sheath and it's ready to fight. All right. That's why I like these. You can get these in a slightly shorter, almost an inch shorter, not quite, blade as the Delica. And then Spyderco has several other knives. The Karahawk, which is the karambit with this on there. Emerson makes a karambit with this feature on there, 'cause obviously Emerson designed it. And then the Emerson knives, the CQC series. I know the CQC 7, 8, and 9 have them. And there's others that have these as well. You can get the Super, which is bigger, the Standard, which is their normal size, and the Mini, which is smaller, through Emerson. Cold Steel has some knives that can be open along the same principle. That, so the choice is out there. You just find a blade shape that works for you, a length and all that matches your jurisdiction's laws. And yeah, this is a pretty good little knife right here. I'd recommend the Spyderco products for the balance of weight and to edge length. So not a bad choice here at all. Again, solid locking mechanism. I broke the pocket clip on this one, and then I made one and broke that too. So I'm accident prone. But, blade length to weight ratio, this is a pretty good choice. Almost a 4-inch blade. I'm going to say it's like 3.8 or something like that. But that's typically what we see people carry. And then you get into the small fixed blade side, the Smith & Wesson HRT. This is nothing to write home about, but it's given me good service over the years. I'm definitely wanting to replace it with like a TSD gang unit and a TSD grab and stab. Those are good knives. I've also thought about the Spyderco reverse because they could be used in the same methods. But anyhow, I digress. Small fixed blade, make sure your local laws allow it, all right? Because this isn't a Bowie, Dirk, or Dagger, it may be okay here. I don't know. I just don't know. But there's these things work really well carried at the 11 o'clock position if you're a right-handed shooter, outside the waistband, all kinds of stuff you can do there. If you're a left-handed shooter, you'd want to carry it at the 1 o'clock position, and that allows you to grab it with either hand and get it in the fight. It also works really well if you carry a strong side hip or in the position of a strong side hip holster on either side. Obviously, if you carry a conventional 3 or 4 o'clock carry, you don't want to carry this right there at the same place. You'd want to carry it on the other side. But, there's all kinds of places you can carry a small fixed blade. But you just need to make sure it's legal in your jurisdiction. All right. I like the concept of a small fixed blade, obviously, but I'm not positive it's legal here. So, something you need to keep in mind. Next one I'm going to show, and we see this specialist scabbard that allows really, really deep inside the waistband carry or is meant to be locked into molly webbing, is a point-based tool like the Sock P dagger from Benchmade. If you get stopped with it and you are carrying, I wouldn't recommend calling it a dagger in North Carolina, but I mean, Delio's a knife stomp, he knows already. But if you can legally carry a knife like this, I should warn you, for one, now you can get one that's single-edged that is an edge-based weapon as well, and I would probably carry that in a edge in, with the cutting edge in towards me method. But this one, the cutting edges are not very long. As you can see, the grind on them doesn't start until way late on the blade. It's very much a point-based tool, so this is a get-off-me kind of knife. If you can legally carry one, it's great because you basically just throw hammer fists with it and go to town. But again, this probably isn't legal in your jurisdiction, especially if you live near us. So the thing with knives is multi-tools. I don't know if I covered this in this one. Some places will allow you to carry a multi-tool, but will not allow you to carry a normal knife. This is a Gerber Flick, and I like this knife. And I bought this multi-tool specifically because the knife blade was accessible on the outside. The Leatherman Wave, the Leatherman Surge, those both have the same feature, and they have a little bit smoother deploying knife. So I'd probably go with one of those. But there's nothing wrong with this little Gerber Flick. If you carry a bag, like a woman carrying a purse or a man carrying an EDC bag, something like this isn't exactly a bad option to throw in. Multi-tool is always a good thing to have. Having a one-hand deployable emergency defensive tool is better. Obviously, it makes it that much better. You're killing two birds with one stone. Obviously, I'd rather carry a purpose-built fighting knife, a utility knife, and then a multi-tool separately. Trying to use one tool for three purposes, you get one that's mediocre at best at any of them. So, it's not hard to carry a multi-tool in my bag. My mini ruckus is a utility folder, and one of my selection of fighting folders on the other side. But no, be smart about how you carry your knives. Be smart about where you carry your knives. And train with them. Train with them a lot. get a couple of buddies to come by and get some Sharpies and practice knife fighting. You can do that easy enough. If you want some professional training on knife fighting, come see us. I'll be more than happy to help you with that. Total Force Holdings Inc. at Weebly.com is a good start. You can like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Total Force. I'm going to try to get some people to come by and do some knife work with me. I've got a couple local LEOs wanting to train that have talked to me over the last few weeks. Might see if I can get them to come out. Or I might just get my old man, who's a martial artist like me, to come out there, and we might do some knife work videos for you guys. I'm really big on using the edged weapon. But, yeah, so, I mean, I'd be more than happy to help you. If you don't want to come train with me for whatever reason, you let me know. I mean, I can look around, and I may know somebody in your area that does it. Look for if you're looking for something to train regularly and you're not in our area, look for somewhere that offers Filipino martial arts training. That's my background in knife work, is the Filipino martial arts. Good Filipino martial artists will really ruin your day with a knife. Julius Milagrito's system is great. That's what I trained under. But there's nothing wrong with any others. I mean, Pikiti Tertia Kali is great. Sayak is great. There's all kinds of good systems out there. It's just a matter of finding one close enough for you to train in. Suarez International has a combative knife class. ShivWorks is on a whole new level when it comes to knife stuff. There's all kinds of options. There's all kinds of options that you can go with, and just there's all kinds of training out there. It's just a matter of finding it. A lot of firearms training places. Some of the bigger ones also do knife work. You want to learn how to if you want to carry a knife, you need to learn how to use it. It's more than just open it and stick them, or open them and cut them. There's a lot more to knife fighting than that. Especially if it turns into a knife on knife encounter. Knife fights are quick. Knife fights are dangerous, and the knife is given a lot of bad press because in my background, the Filipino martial arts. In the Philippines, the martial arts weapon of choice is the knife. But in America, this is the martial arts weapon of choice. And there's nothing wrong with this. I mean, obviously, I carry 3 of them. But, and you hear in this country, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Well, if you know it's a gunfight, it's probably not a good idea. But let's take like an active shooter situation. At some point, if you hear multiple weapons being fired and you get behind one of them, what happens when you fire yours? And there are plenty of times these active shooter incidents happen in places where it's not okay to carry a gun, but it's perfectly fine to carry a pocket knife. If you come up behind him and ram that pocket knife through one side and punch out the other and cut his throat out, now you haven't given away your position and you've neutralized one of the attackers. Alright, so now if you have that gun on you, you can get to that and you can go on ahead about your business and you can move about as you need to. You've eliminated one of the threats without giving away your position. The knife is, there is no better tool for that except for maybe a garrote. The problem with a garrote is it takes time. And it's probably illegal. I don't know if it's illegal to carry a garrote. I wouldn't want to try it though. They kind of have a bad connotation. But anyway, the knife is a good choice for that. You can't do that with a gun. It is in North Carolina, carrying an NFA weapon concealed is bluntly against the law. You can't carry an NFA weapon. So the option of, well, I'm just going to screw my suppressor on. Then, not going to happen. You're going to jail. In an active shooter incident, probably not. But what happens if during the course of that incident you get stopped and detained and you have it? Bad idea. If you just have your pocket knife or, your legal concealed carry pistol, then you're okay. No big. But I'm not saying you're not going to go to jail if you're carrying concealed where you're not supposed to be, but that's entirely up to the officers involved. Maybe, maybe not. But if you're carrying an NFA weapon, probably. I would say, I would put money on you probably are, especially in the event of something like that. But with the knife, you've done nothing wrong. Okay? You've eliminated a threat to public safety with a tool you were okay with having in there in the first place. Alright? If you know it's going to be a gunfight, obviously trying to go fight it with a knife is a bad idea. But I'll tell you what's even worse. bringing a gun into a knife fighter's realm and then getting in a knife fight. Um, there are people who can do it, sure, but I've carried a gun for a long time. I've shot for a long time. Make no mistake, I started carrying long before I was legal to carry concealed. So there are people who will tell me, "Well, you're only 28. You've only been carrying concealed for 7 years." Right. And if you believe that one, I'll sell you some oceanfront property in Nebraska. Okay, and I'll sell you the Niagara, and I'll throw the Niagara Falls in for free. Okay. Um, I started carrying a long time ago. I know my Papa Robert died in 1999, and he had me, when we'd go walking in the woods, carrying a 32 revolver before then. So, yeah. Yeah, I've been carrying for a long, and the penalty for me screwing up was I go to jail. That, talk to my parents. I've been carrying a gun for long before I was legal to. But, anyway, I digress. That's a risk you take if you choose to carry a gun in places where you can't, or if you're, for whatever reason, can't get a concealed carry permit. You can have a folding knife. You can have a folding knife, and that Spyderco right there, in the side of the neck, out through the front, active shooter done. Especially if you can get behind him. When we're in the clinch, you can work that gun all you want. All I have to do is redirect that line of fire. And as long as I can keep that gun out of the fight, I can get my knife out with the other hand and I can start working. And your gun's useless. Plus, if the dynamics of the way a knife fight moves, being in close quarters, I have to make a lot more movement getting off the line of attack, open a lot more distance to build the time to get that gun out. So, a knife's a good tool to carry. I highly recommend carrying a knife. If you carry a gun, don't carry a knife. You're failing yourself. If for no other reason, you've got a knife to open your ammo boxes, guy. I mean, damn. I need to be able to open my box of bullets. Alright? Especially like some of the ones that are taped to no end. Or is that just me? Am I the only one that buys bullets that are taped up like that? Probably. But anyway, carry a knife. If you carry a gun, definitely carry a knife. Yeah, I tell people in the gun world all the time, Sean Connery admonished those in The Untouchables. You carry a badge? Good, then carry a gun. I'll say, you carry a gun? Then carry a knife. Alright? If you're carrying a gun, you should have two things, a knife and a flashlight. I'm going to do a separate video a little bit later. It might be today, it might be later this week, I don't know, on the use of the flashlight as a fighting tool. And then I'll do another one on improvised weapons, and I'll do one on the cane, and we'll do one on some impact stuff. I got about 7 or 8 training videos planned coming up, and they're all going to be in the 20 to 30 minute range. So, I hope this finds y'all well, and I hope y'all staying safe, staying in the fight, and if y'all are in any of that snow that's coming up through the Midwest that I heard about, I hope y'all stay warm, and we'll talk to y'all later on. Y'all stay safe, stay in the fight.